everybody. You guys ready to learn some history today?
Yeah.
I know it's everybody's favorite subject. So we're gonna be doing the Cold War. That is our new topic. We just finished up World War II last week, so let's get started on our next unit here. So just take a look at this picture. What can you tell me about it?
A bomb shelter.
Bomb shelter. Think you might want to live there?
No.
I don't want to live there,
But I want one.
Right. All right.
Be a good man cave.
Yeah.
Man game for all.
Okay, so let's face it, the Cold War is huge. It stretches from, well, depending on who you talk to, it stretches from directly after World War II up into the 90s. So let's focus on the beginning. The beginning, where it really starts to escalate for us, is the Korean War. What can you guys tell me about the Korean War just off the top of your head? Are you guys familiar with it at all?
Is it a civil war?
For Korea. So yeah, let's put that down. So yes, it is a civil war technically for Korea.
It was a political ideology war.
Good.
So, like communism versus democracy?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah. What was the terminology used? Political
ideology?
Ideology.
ideology. Good.
The terminology was ideology.
Ash was a really good show.
Yeah.
Good show.
It was the longest running. It divided Korea.
Divided Korea?
Did it?
They were already divided.
Well,
but
it's
what
a
were we
little,
looking
like
for?
officially, like with the 38.
38th parallel?
Yeah.
Let's put down the 38th parallel here, because that's a key term.
History majors. Fun.
38th parallel.
Closest.
Anything else, guys?
It's known as the Forgotten War.
Forgotten War. Good. And why do we say that?
Because it was right after World War II and right before Vietnam, so everyone pays attention to those.
Nice.
The Frozen Chosen.
Frozen chosen? All right, let's move on. Okay, so let's do a quick review. So we got our win in World War II. Not technically by numbers, but by American pride, sure.
Yeah, okay. I was just gonna ask. Okay. I heard what my coworker said yesterday. He said that we're back-to-back World War champs. And like when he said that, like struck me. I was like, huh.
That's my views of the landing on the moon, finders keepers.
Yeah.
So as we look at this review, I'm gonna pass this around. It's an actual. You recognize it up here. It's about 1950, 1951. If you guys want to take a look at it, you guys can feel free to take a look. Yes. It's just an advertisement for Cadillac, aka what we're known for, big, slow boats. So take a look at these pictures. What can you guys tell me about this? What were we feeling in that time period?
Bigger houses.
No diversity.
It looks like they're very pleased and joyful, happy,
Yeah.
content with the times. Everyone's
There's no
fine.
diversity.
Yeah.
Diversity. Yeah. Common in the 1950s, right?
Yeah.
Common meaning no diversity, but that's fine. Anything else? What do you guys see? I'll draw attention specifically to this picture. What are we looking at?
Bigger.
Beginning of the
Bigger?
suburbs.
Beginning of the suburbs.
The American dream.
The American dream. That's good. Yeah, these are fundamental. These things. What do we have up here?
School,
Education.
church,
Church.
industry.
Industry. We want prosperity, right? It's the American dream. We want to do well for ourselves. Well, in the 1950s, a lot of people be like, yeah, it was a good time. We were, like you guys are saying, we don't really think about Korean War, so we always just kind of skip over that and think, yeah, the 1950s was a good time. I mean, as long as you're, white and male. But, yeah, it was an okay time for those, but we don't really think about the Korean War. Because we have this antithesis of those images. What can you tell me about these images? What do you see in those?
Propaganda.
Propaganda? What kind of propaganda?
Fear.
Fear? That's good. Yeah, so,
I don't know, I like that, so let's nuke them first.
nuke 'em first, yeah. Interesting word choice, eh? Yeah, so 1950, Korean War begins, and so does America's fear of everything red. What does that mean? Were we really scared of red?
No.
No. What does that mean?
Better death
We're thinking of, I'm thinking of a certain term here.
Communism?
What's red and makes you scared?
Russia.
than fire.
Yes. I'm furious. I'm afraid of fire than that. Yeah, sure.
Is it true that communism is associated with red or no?
Yes.
We usually do associate with the color red.
The rats.
The terminology I'm looking for is pretty simple. The red scare.
Oh.
You've heard that before.
Impossible.
But this is where we're kind of getting that term. In the back pocket of every American, we were afraid of communism. That red scare. Starting to be a little bit paranoid.
That's the nuke them first.
Yeah.
You
Robert
just,
said that.
You just saw
You know,
that.
taking that.
So boy oh boy, I've got a video.
all right.
Everybody cheer. It's only about 4.5 minutes long. The video itself is longer, but we're only going to watch about 4.5 minutes of it. While that's happening, I'm going to pass around a couple artifacts. This is dated 1952 military. This is Korean War jacket. You guys want to take a look at it? If you
It's
look,
small.
if you look in here, it is a size medium.
Medium. What's a medium?
You can see the stamp date right here, September 16th, 1952. So if you guys want to look at that, go
That
for
was
it.
small. I
Hey,
think
we're
men were
smaller
small
back then,
Yeah.
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 It fits me, and I'm not exactly a small guy.
Yeah.
So, and this right here, this same era, it's government emergency drinking water, and it's still full.
That's
Wow.
So go ahead and
I'm
take
not
a
offended
some-
if you drink that right now.
Give me $20, I'll do it.
Okay, I'll do that.
He's like a bulldog wall.
It's like
So
a
we'll have those going around the room and
seven-year-old
then play this
water.
video real quick. Try and pay attention to what's going on in the video. It is funny. I love this guy. If you've ever seen these crash courses
Oh my
before,
gosh, I love these.
so let's
I love John Green.
These are
let's
so
start
good.
this over. That.
I'm John Green, this is Crash Course U.S. History, and today we're going to talk about the Cold War again. Really less about the Cold War, about the war. As usual, we're not going to focus so much on the generals and the tactics, but instead on why the wars were fought and what it all meant. And today we get to visit a part of the world that we haven't seen much on this series, Asia. Not my best work. So we're going to start today with the place where the Cold War really heated up, at least as far as America's concerned. Mr. Green, it's Vietnam. Close to me from the past, but like all your romantic endeavors, unsuccessful. The correct answer is, of course, Korea. Like me from the past, many Americans have forgotten about the Korean War, which lasted 3 years from 1950 to 1953, and is sometimes called the Forgotten War. But it was real. The Korean War was the first real, shooting war that Americans were involved in after World War II, and it was also the only time that American troops directly engaged with an honest-to-goodness communist power. I'm referring not to North Korea, but to China, which became communist in 1949 and qualifies as a major world power because it was, and also is, huge. Love you, China. Just kidding, you're not watching, because of the Great Firewall. So the end of World War II left Korea split between a communist North led by Kim Il Crazy Pants Sung and an anti-communist but hardly democratic South led by Syngman Rhee. The two were supposed to reunite, but that was impossible because they were constantly fighting that cost around 100,000 lives. The civil war between the two Koreas turned into a full-fledged international conflict in June of 1950 when Kim Il-sung invaded the South and the U.S. responded. Truman thought that Kim's invasion was being pushed by the Soviets and that it was a challenge to the, quote, free world. Truman went to the United Nations and he got authorization, but he didn't go to Congress and never called the Korean War a war, insisting instead that American troops were leading a UN police action. But That was kind of a misleading statement. General Douglas MacArthur was in command of this tiny little police force at the start of the war because he was the highest ranking general in the region. He was also really popular, at least with the press, although not so much with other generals or with the president. Under MacArthur, UN forces, which basically meant American and South Korean forces, pushed the North Koreans back past the 38th parallel where the two countries had been divided. And then Truman made a fateful decision. The United States would try to reunify Korea as a non-communist state, which if you've looked at a map recently, you'll notice went swimmingly. America's allies in the UN all agreed to this idea, so up north they went, all the way to the northern border with China at the Yalu River. At that point, Chinese forces, feeling that American forces were a smidge too close to China, counterattacked on November 1st, 1950, and by Christmas, the two sides were stalemated again at the 38th parallel, right where they started. The war dragged on for 2 more years, with the US pursuing a scorched earth policy and dropping more bombs on Korea than had been dropped in the entire Pacific theater during World War II. The two sides tried to negotiate a peace treaty, but the sticking point was the repatriation of North Korean and Chinese prisoners who didn't want to go back to their communist homelands. Meanwhile, at home, Americans were growing tired of fighting a war that they weren't winning, which helped to swing the election of 1952 for Dwight Eisenhower. Also, he was running against perennial presidential loser Adlai Stevenson, who was perceived as an egghead intellectual because his name was Adlai Stevenson. In addition to helping Ike get elected, the Korean War had a number of profound effects. First, and most importantly, it was expensive, both in terms of lives and money. In 3 years of fighting, 33,629 Americans were killed, 102,000 were wounded, and nearly 4 million Korean and Chinese people were killed, wounded, or missing. The majority of Korean casualties were civilians. The Korean War also further strengthened executive power in the United States. Truman went to war without a declaration, and Congress acquiesced. This doesn't mean that the war was initially unpopular. It wasn't. People wanted to see America do something about communism, and allowing Kim to take the South and possibly threaten Japan was unacceptable. However, the whole idea that you don't really need to declare war to go to war, while not new in America, sure has been important in the last 60 years. And the Korean War also strengthened the Cold War mentality. I mean, this was the height of the Red Scare. Also, the Korean War set the stage for America's longer, more destructive, and more well-known engagement in Asia, the Vietnam War. Oh, it's time for the mystery document?
And that is all we're going to review with that so far.
Good, because this caller was bugging me.
Alright, let's get back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so let's review. Let's take a look at this nice smiling man up here. Kim Il Sung, what can you tell me about him?
Dictator.
Dictator.